Hello, hello! Perfidious Pete here, with an episode more salt-encrusted than the Bonneville Speedway in Toole County, Utah, as we prepare for a little more XCOM, The Long War. And if you're wondering what's got me layering on the salt like it's getting pumped out of a nearby pond as part of a salt replacement project, well, the answer to that question is the map we fought on last episode, that's what. The ruined Flaming Highway map continues its streak of line-of-sight bullshittery abusing aliens that invariably wind up blasting someone's face off as they charge up the death ramp at the end of the map. Proving, once and for all, that Obi-Wan was totally right. Having the high ground really is all that matters. So, given Obi-Wan's actual correctness, I think the only thing for me to do at this point is throw myself into an epic pout, sulk down to the barracks, kick BB-8 like a soccer ball, murder a bunch of younglings, and force choke the shit out of my girlfriend. At least, that's what Lucas would have me believe, and I patently refuse to believe anything not endorsed by George Lucas as part of the official Star Wars canon. So, why don't you guys just bear with me a moment here while I start drafting up my Craigslist ad for chicks who are into being choked out as a form of foreplay, and we can see what Dr. Valen's cooked up for us in the old Project Lazarus tubes while I go ahead and post that Craigslist thing. Seriously, though, if you actually don't Google Craigslist strangulation unless you put in the -murder boolean, or you're gonna spend your time doing nothing but reading police reports. It's pretty fucked up. Do you have some troopers to take care of here? Teodoro Varela, of course, first man on the list. Let's take a look at Teodoro here. Stern features. Again, very determined glare. A lot of our troopers look really determined, gotta say. Sort of a flared nose, kind of a grayish chap. This is a man who can see the way of things to come for the future. This is a man who knows what's what. This is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So let's go ahead and get him named. This is the man who can see our salvation. He's got the New Deal, folks. The New Deal of killing aliens in volume. No more of this 9, 10 at a time shit. He wants to bring them on. Bring me a fucking large UFO with 60 of those bastards on it. That's the FDR method. Take a look and see what FDR is going to do for us. The answer is not a lot. I don't really feel either of these things are well suited. Franklin, frankly, given the diseases that have ravaged his body, is not really a fantastic aim. He's got some sort of shaking and palsy issues. Not to hold it against him, it's just nothing you can help. Can't help it if you're sick, but I really don't feel that's the best trait to have for a gunner. So we're just going to random old Frankie here. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed, was another sniper, especially for a guy who has a substandard aim. Wonderful. All right, Franklin, maybe your foresight is not as accurate as we had hoped, but I suppose we'll have to deal with it. So welcome aboard, Franklin Roosevelt Sniper. Not really totally enthused with that pick, but I am the one who randomed him, so. Bakri Nuri here. Let's take a look at this gentleman. Another elderly chap. Man, gotta say, Project XCOM here. The old Lazarus chamber is really pumping out the oldsters. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to be accused of ageism here. I just would have thought they'd given us some more hale and hearty folks. What do we got here? Elder gentleman, sweet mutton chop sideburns. Look at that shit going there. This is a man who's, I think, obsessed with cleanliness. Look at the quality of his grooming. And the reason he's obsessed with cleanliness, I think it has to do with the fact that this is Joseph Lister, the founder of antiseptic surgery. I mean, this is the guy who sort of made microbiology a thing. No question in my mind, we do have a Joseph Lister on our hands. And since this is Joseph Lister, of course, nobody knew more about surgery at the time than Joseph Lister. He was he is sort of the founder of modern medicine. Sure, people are going to say, oh, it's Hippocrates and whatnot, but antiseptic surgery, that was Joseph Lister's deal, man. Back before this guy, doctors didn't even wash their hands between patients. I mean, they'd hack off one guy's leg and then just move on to the next dude without even slapping their hands in a bucket of hot water. So we're going to bring Joseph on the team, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more battlefield amputations, but at least they'll be sterile amputations. Welcome aboard, Big Joe. Glad to have you on the team here. Uh-oh, a Frenchman. We got Laurent Jacquet here. Oh, yep, it is. Look at this. Yeah, we have another Frenchman here. Again with the facial hair. Got a little beard going. Tells me we're looking back at the past a bit. And another gentleman who is well-versed in the scientific skills. That squint in his eye, of course, From many hours spent looking into a microscope, this, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Louis Pasteur. I'm telling you, the scientific overflow coming into our project. Louis Pasteur here. We got Joseph Lister, Louis Pasteur, two kings of microbial attack. I have to wonder if maybe the aliens aren't going to send some kind of biological weapon at us. But then again, if they do, I mean, we've got Louis Pasteur and Joseph Lister on our team. We should be well able to combat it. You got to be kidding me with this scout sniper shit, right, game? Come on. I really don't feel that either of these are going to be well suited for Louis. His eyesight, of course, has been damaged by the long hours squinting into the microscope to discover microbes and germs. So let's let Louis decide his own fate as well. Let's hope he does a little better than fucking FDR did. Engineer, you know what? I think probably is a reasonable pick for him. Louis Pasteur discovered and designed a lot of equipment that helps with the pasteurization process. I mean, he perfected that method. That's clearly a feat of engineering. I think he'll be well suited, especially given his aim and foot speed. Welcome aboard, Louis, buddy. We're glad to have you on board. And Dr. Valen's really cranking them out for us. Jesus. All right, Dr. V. So who else have we got? Kenji Fuji here. Look at that madman. I know without a doubt who this is. This is the reason. Kenji Fuji, he enrolled in the project. This actually is not Kenji Fuji. That's just a disguise. That's his current name. This is the immortal warrior himself. This is fucking Miyamoto Musashi. He's not even actually died the first time. We didn't reincarnate Miyamoto Musashi. He just heard we needed help and fucking showed up. This is the man who wrote the Book of Five Rings. He has mastered and challenged, well, not challenged, but channeled the Ring of Void. He knows. He is eternal. He cannot be killed. Miyamoto Musashi will go down through the ages, the greatest duelist who has ever lived. That's why we knew he was such a steely-eyed badass from the first time we set eyes on him. Because he is Miyamoto Musashi. I'm glad to have you on board, Miyamoto. I wish I could put a sword in your hand. I really feel you would probably be a much better killer with a blade in your fist. But again, we've got the scout sniper. The sniper rifle sort of seems like a modern-day equivalent of the katana that Miyamoto was known to wield. But you know what? I think we're going to let Miyamoto Musashi decide his own fate. He joined the XCOM project for his own free will. I mean, let's let him pick his role. Another engineer. Not what I would have expected, Miyamoto, but I have no complaints about it. I'll take pretty much as many engineers as the game wants to get me. I really like engineers. I don't have a problem with it. So if you want to try your hand at a more technological approach to destruction, Miyamoto, I got no objection. Welcome aboard, buddy. And that just leaves us one more here, Hassan Badawi, who was a bit of a hero on our last little endeavor there. He really turned out nicely, saved Napoleon from a pretty dire fate. Let's take a look here. What do we got? Very noble brow, sort of a wizened looking fellow. This is a man who seems to have the wisdom of ages carried in his young years. This is a man I would trust to make adjudications for me, make decisions. He's a mediator. He's a problem solver. This is Thurgood Marshall. Welcome aboard, Thurgood. This guy was a fucking Supreme Court justice, and he's going to bring a little bit of justice to our foes as well. So let's get Thurgood Marshall ready to roll. And again, I think Thurgood might be a fellow. Well, let's see what job he's got. Gotta be kidding me with the scout snipers, guys. Come on. Thurgood is pretty fast. I do like scouts a awful lot. Do we want to random this? Perhaps? Do we want to let Thurgood pick his own fate, or do we just want to make him a scout? I think we let Thurgood, I say we let him, you know what? This is the man who decided the fate of many when he sat upon the Supreme Court, and I trust him to make a smart decision. Thurgood, run it yourself, buddy. An assault trooper? You know what? Assault is actually a very good role for you, Thurgood. You have picked well, sir. You have chosen with the sage wisdom we would have expected of a Supreme Court justice. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. All right, so that's it for the Project Lazarus entries for this time, except for Lance Corporal the General Peter Van Dorn. I have my reservations about fucking Van Dorn. I gotta say, I am not a fan of this cat, not even a little, not even at all. I don't trust him. I think he's in league with the aliens. I've said that since the last time we rescued him from aliens like 3 times. I don't have any reason to doubt my initial suspicions. Unfortunately, Van Dorn unwilling to fucking volunteer for Project Lazarus. So his bald, cue ball-headed ass is going to be leading us into battle whether we like it or not. Theoretically, he could be a good gunner. Also, though, I wouldn't mind random subclassing him. Van Dorn? Fuck it. Another sniper. You know what? For Van Dorn's chicken shit ass sniper actually seems appropriate. He could lurk back at the back of the battlefield, and he does have a pretty damn good aim, so... It's not the worst decision he's ever made, Van Dorn. At least this time, when you're crouched behind a burning SUV, maybe you can take a few fucking pot shots at the enemy, you fucking cheap-ass piece of garbage. I'm never gonna have anything nice to say about Van Dorn, ever. He is the new Tara Reid of this project. It's gonna be me and Van Dorn going at it this time. Not that I'd want to go at it with Tara Reid, because that's getting into a whole weird area. And honestly, given the side of Tara's breast, I really sincerely think I might have some performance issues. I really do. Sorry, Tara, but I'm not sure I could handle what you're putting out. But that being said, Van Dorn clearly is the new Tara Reid. Looks like we got a satellite coming online, which, considering satellites are typically deployed in orbit above the planet, I'm not entirely sure what the hell that was. Oh, it was an uplink facility. Never mind, it's not an actual satellite. Alright. That has increased our satellite capacity, and we will have a new satellite available in a meager 4 days. Glad to see Elvis back on duty. He's ready to shake, rattle, and roll some aliens for us. Steve Irwin, of course. Crikey, mate, he's back on duty and ready to kick ass. God, I'd berate myself for the Australian thing, but it's never going to get better. Get used to it. That's Steve Irwin, folks, although it sounds nothing like him, and somewhere the actual Steve Irwin probably just rolled over in his grave. Deservedly so, I think. Engineers are very difficult to come by in the long war. I kind of want to conserve our weapon fragments, but I also kind of want to make this trade. You know what? I'm going to go with not now. I'm going to look at something very quickly. I believe for the next research project we needed 30 weapon fragments, unless I am insane. Beam lasers, it takes 40 weapon fragments. How long until our current project finishes? 14 days. So we have 40 to spare. Go take a look at that offer. You know what? I think we can probably afford to accept it. I really do. I think we can probably get by with this one. Satellite transfers? Yeah, no. We want artifact sales. This will take us down to 32, but that means we only need to get 8 between now and 14 days from now. I'm pretty confident we'll be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and dispatch that. Now watch, we won't get a mission forever, and the research will finish before we're ready. And I'll not, once again, be researching beam lasers because I'm an idiot. That's probably a thing that will happen. A lot of troopers returning back to duty, though. I'm pleased with that. A couple who failed to get promoted.
Is prepped and standing by for launch.
And so we have a new satellite. Alright, we need to go decide where to deploy that. Thanks for the heads up there, Bradford. I'm glad you're sober enough to remember today where you are and what it is that you are doing. Do we want to expand to another continent? I think given the state of our finances and interceptor fleet, we can't really afford to spread ourselves that thin. We should probably focus on our current continent. And maybe by the time our next satellite is ready, we can afford to purchase another interceptor and maybe branch out a little bit. Wouldn't mind getting one over Canada. What's the bonus like for Canada? We should probably also try to figure out where we want to go. +1 scientist per month, that's useful. Aircraft and aircraft weapons cost 25% less to purchase and maintain. That's very useful. And a +2 bonus will for new engineers and medics. Intriguing. Mexico? 10% bonus to psionic training chances is actually quite handy. We have ways. 25% reduction time in autopsies and interrogations. Intriguing, but I don't think really an interesting or like an immediate priority. The cash output from the United States is important, however. For now, though, I think we're going to stick to Africa. What do we get from Egypt?
We're monitoring several contacts.
25% reduction in fatigue from gene mods. That's...
Doesn't look like a legitimate target.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you interrupted me for it then, Bradford. Thanks a lot, bud. I appreciate it. That bonus is shit. I'm not even going to build a gene mod facility. They're that terrible. +2 bonus for newly promoted snipers and scouts. That's actually pretty useful. 2 defense bonus is not, over the long run, is not inconsiderable. Laboratories and workshops costing 30% less. It would be good to have that continent bonus before we start branching out to build those. You know what? We're going to launch this satellite. I'm probably making a huge Ryan Reynolds-esque mistake.
Satellite
And, you know, I speak, of course, of when Ryan Reynolds married Scarlett Johansson. Probably a mistake equal to that, or greater so, perhaps even equal to Napoleon's decision to engage in battle at Waterloo, but I'm no less filled with hubris than he was, and I'm going for it. We're putting one over South Africa. And then it's back to scanning. We're doubling down on the African continent here. We're putting all our eggs in this basket, and we're going to ride that baby home. Not that you can ride a basket. I don't know why I said that. That euphemism really made absolutely no sense. So we've got abductions then. Where are we?
We have multiple reports of new
Japanese.
abductions in progress.
You know, I think the
Locations are marked on
Japanese
the
should be
hologram.
better at fighting off alien abductions given their proclivity for, you know, the fan base for manga, tentacle porn, and kaiju films. This seems like it should be just a normal Tuesday in Japan. I mean, oh no, Godzilla is attacking the city, and then they just stop him because that's what they do. I mean, they've got centuries of training on that. It seems like they should be right up their alley. We'll go ahead and go, though. No question we need the abduction, mostly because we got to reclaim the weapon fragments, so... I'm not even going to talk about this. I don't want to mention it. I don't want to glorify him. No. Yep. I'm not going to say a thing. Just get some shit. Get your ass out there. I don't want to hear a word from you. I don't want to see you. Don't want to talk to you. Don't want to know about you. Take a battle scanner. Actually, Van Dorn is probably... you already have a battle scanner. Well, good then. You're exactly what I want. Now get your ass on the Sky Ranger, and if you don't come back, I'm not going to miss you. What else do we need here? Probably want a gunner. Let's take a quality gunner. We have a wide array of gunners to choose from. I'm going to try and favor folks who have been on at least one mission. Let's go with Jane. Do we want Jane Austen or Mata Hari? You know, Mata Hari on our last mission, despite being possibly one of the world's worst spies, Mata Hari actually did a fine job for us last time we had her out and about. She was okay. I think we'll leave her with the LMG. Now, let's go with the saw. We have sort of a base of fire position because we're bringing a sniper. We're going to give Mata a saw. Mata's pretty quick on her feet as well, so no drawbacks there. That flashbang is good. I'll give her a chance to throw that if she can't get a shot. Probably should take a medic, and I think we are going to bring in the hound dog himself. Do a little crying all the time for us. We're bringing in Elvis Aaron Presley. Attack armor solid, assault rifle, pistol. Elvis is looking good. He's ready to roll. And I don't just mean physically he's looking good, although Elvis was one handsome son of a bitch. And in this case, no different. He's still a handsome son of a bitch. But he looks ready to perform as well. We're also bringing along Mitch Hedberg. Let's go with... You're not that fast, are you, Mitch? Tac... You know what? Well, we're going to have... Yeah, that's fine. Tac vest is good. Shotgun, pistol, AP grenade, and a flashbang. Do we need this AP grenade? I think, actually, we may go ahead and hang on to that. That'll probably be okay for Mitchie. So we've got Mitch sorted there. Old Specialist Hedberg is on the job. What have we got here? We got a medic, a gunner, a sniper, a scout. What else do we need? We could take Samuel Clemens. There's some, I think, some value in that, but I really feel... Steve, one here. Crikey, mate. Gonna get out there and kill us some aliens, eh? I can't tell if I'm from New Zealand or just retarded. Possibly both. We're taking Steve Irwin nonetheless. There are no Stingrays of this mission, so we don't really have anything to worry about. Stingrays the only thing that have even a chance of stopping someone as powerful and mighty as Steve Irwin. I'm tempted to take another assault trooper, but we don't really have a whole lot of assaults, so let's take an engineer instead. We got, oh, you know what? If we're taking an engineer, there's only one engineer for the job, and that's goddamn Nikola Tesla, the greatest fucking engineer who ever lived. He's going. Assault rifle, pistol, laser sight. Let's get rid of that flashbang, Nikki. Actually, let's get rid of that laser sight, too. Come on. You're going for explosives. We need death rays, explosions, rockets, bombs, shit flying everywhere, aliens screaming in terror. Shit, I'd scream in terror if you sent the Lord of fucking Lightning after me. The Master of Lightning is coming for your asses, aliens. And you're dicked. This is a man who set the world record for the longest man-generated bolt of lightning at 104 feet, and he set it in fucking 1894. It still stands to this day.
Prepare for landing.
More than 100 years later, he still holds the record. Mostly because not a lot of people are crazy enough to let people shoot lightning 100 feet in the air, but you know, things were a little more freewheeling back in Tesla's day.
Secure the area as quickly as we can.
I hate this map. A lot. Not as much as I hate the Highway of Death map, because I've sort of come up with a strategy to help thwart this, but I still hate this map a whole lot. So let's get to work here on Operation Lazy Flame. Speaking of lazy, the guy that named this mission, yeah, he didn't do us any favors with the laziness. The lazy prick who was I was hoping we would get some kind of alternate deployment zone where maybe we wouldn't have to deal with the you never have any kind of decent fucking cover bullshit on this map, but nah, fuck me. This is exactly what I get for hoping, folks, right here. Let's send Mitch out to scout. Mitch has spotted some drones for us. This actually is not a bad opening turn. If we can kill all those drones, we might be able to make some decent stuff happen. Mitch actually has a pretty good shot. Van Dorn is not going to be able to move and fire, so we're just going to put Van Dorn in full cover beside this truck. He can't do shit. We're going to have Van Dorn steady his weapon. Make sure maybe he can do something next time. You know what, Mitchie? You got a real good shot, buddy. Why don't you take that 61% to hit? Nah, you know what? We're going to hold off on that. We may need to have Mitch fall back. Probably going to have Mitch fall back to maybe denser cover. I don't want him getting flanked and shot. Elvis, what kind of shot are you going to have from here, buddy? Pretty good. Elvis actually has very good shots. I think we're going to take one. Let's shoot at this far away target. We'll go furthest away. A rare miss from Elvis. I would have expected someone as fantastically talented as you to be a little bit more on the ball, Elvis. Have you had a lot of Quaaludes this evening? Is that part of the problem, Elvis? Have you been ingesting some illicit substances that perhaps you should not necessarily have been ingesting? Is that what's going on there, buddy? Huh?
Moving to position.
Matahari cannot see from there, so it seems like a terrible idea to leave her in that position. We're going to move her forward then to provide her some base of fire for us, and she can't see any enemies from that position either, which is probably a good thing. Have old Steve Irwin just drop into Overwatch for us. So our first turn turned out to be not particularly productive, but that's okay. I trust Mitch Hedberg. He's going to bring good things for us. Nikola Tesla with the little Overwatch. Nicky Buddy, that was not even close, my friend. Not even close. Taking a shot. Alright, so we got lucky there. Mitch Hedberg keeping his head down. Mitch knows how to deal with hecklers. Right, Phil? Yeah, that's right, Phil. Well, that didn't turn out so well. Alright, so they're all just going to shoot at Mitch Hedberg then. That's exactly what they're going to do. I don't know if that got double moved. Alright, so Mitch is in a somewhat exposed position, but we should have troopers who can return fire enough to kind of dig him out of this hole. Starting with Matahari? Of course not. Damn you, Mata.
Roger that.
We'll come back to you in a moment. Mitch, what do you got? 43, 73. Well, the 73 almost can't miss. Let's go ahead and have Mitch take this. If it hits, it should get a kill. Alright, so Mitch drops one. Score one for the Hedberg. How can you... Oh, we gave her a saw. She can move and fire. I am an idiot. I thought we still had the LMG on Matahari, but we do not. She can move and fire. For all the good it did us, she can move and fire. Didn't really help a whole lot. Alright, Van Dorn, you worthless hunk of dog shit. I'm gonna give you so much fucking grief, Van Dorn. Especially when you're shooting like that, I'm really gonna fucking pile the grief on you. Because that was fucking shameful, sir. That was shameful. Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself, Van Dorn. That was... Nikola Tesla doesn't have a whole lot here. Elvis? Elvis ain't doing a whole lot better. Alright. Well, we're gonna have to send in the Crocodile Hunter then. Steve, get up there, buddy. We're gonna need some wrangling. You gotta wrangle these drones for me. Pretend they're a runaway camel and put the hurt on them. Not a fantastic shot. We're running out of chances here, guys. Let's take Elvis over to this mailbox, see if his hit percentage is... It's not any better. We could steady our weapon, although it didn't do us any good last turn. And Elvis bucking the odds to get the kill. Alright, so that just leaves Nikola Tesla with a 45% chance. What can you do with a grenade instead, Nikki? I don't think it's going to get the kill. Can you even hit him? Can't tell where that's landing. That seems not optimal. Let's just go ahead and take the 45% and just accept the fact that... Never mind. Shouldn't have doubted Nikola Tesla because he is the world's greatest engineer. He filled that motherfucker full of it. That guy's riding the lightning right there. That's what happens when you mess with Nikola Tesla. Unless you're Thomas Edison, in which case you win. That's what happens. We're going to reload. Mitch is a little injured, and also Mitch, not exactly one of our healthiest troopers.
We're green to go.
So we're going to take our time on this one. Van Dorn, fucking hate you. Everybody's just going to reload. We'll see how the aliens react. Got sectoids up in that area. That's fine. Actually, are they coming to us? They may be coming to us. We're going to deploy a battle scanner then before we go anywhere. We'd also like to get a heal on Hedberg if we can. So, Mitchie, why don't you fall back, buddy? Come back here and take cover. Next to Elvis, the king, if you would be so kind, sir, why don't you do a little patch-up job here on Hedberg?
Good as new.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Shot in the face all the time.
Solid copy.
Well, you ain't never killed a sectoid and you ain't no friend of mine. Matahari, let's put you up here in this corner cover. You see nothing, which is fine. We're going to get you on Overwatch then.
Yes, Commander.
Steve Irwin. Crikey, did you see the size of that one, mate? That one I shot right there in the face there? What a beautiful drone it is. Really wish we could have took him back here and made a wonderful specimen. Sometimes, though, in nature, you just got to embrace the cruelty. Oh, you can't go on Overwatch because you're a piece of human garbage, Van Dorn. We'll have you study your weapon instead. Nikki, I think, buddy, we're going to... Yeah, let's just leave you right where you're at. Keep the Overwatch for me. Now, I swear to Christ, I brought some fucking battle scanners. Who the hell had those? Alright, so Nikola Tesla and Matahari. Open it up. Matahari scoring a kill. So we've got one sector. Get some. Listen to Matahari. Even in XCOM, she's still trying to seduce her enemies. You steadied your fucking weapon, Van Dorn, and you still only have a 55% chance to hit. God, you're trash, man. That's a miss. Not a surprise because, frankly, he's a piece of garbage. I really can't express my hatred for Van Dorn adequately. There just simply aren't enough words for me to properly explain just how much I loathe him. Steve Irwin has a battle scanner here. I would really kind of like to throw it. But I'd also like to have Steve maybe go shoot a guy in the face. So let's have Elvis throw it instead.
Roger, tracking.
Elvis should still be out of vision of the... Nope, he got just one tile too close. Actually, Elvis has a pretty good shot. We may not waste it throwing a battle scanner. We might just try and kill that guy instead. So I think the right plan then, given the position of the enemies here, is going to be to advance with Tesla. None of these enemies are on Overwatch, so... Oh, shit.
If I had to hazard a guess, based on its profile,
Well,
I'd say
that
the aliens developed
sucks.
this unit with the intention of tracking and isolating.
We're in a
single
very bad
targets.
position vis-a-vis
It
that
appears to
thin
have a
man.
sophisticated evasion
That guy is a
system as well.
very serious
Perhaps
problem.
we should try to avoid those tentacles.
Tentacles? I'm more worried about the thin man. Fuck the Seeker. That guy's nothing. I ain't worried about a goddamn Seeker. Alright then. So here's what we're going to do. Steve is going to have to run and gun for us. No question in my mind. We got to get the run and gun from the Irwin. We got to get this thin man eliminated. And Steve is pretty much the only game in town as far as that goes. This should be a flank shot, though. Alright, so... yep, it's a can't miss. Guaranteed kill. Steve's got this guy in the bag. Did you see that specimen, mate? What a beauty, but of course, again, we had to put him down. Oh, I feel so terrible about it. It's not in my nature to harm nature, but sometimes, folks, for the good of the species, you just gotta take a sample. We're gonna have Nikola Tesla try and destroy all this cover. Steve Irwin's conservatory impulses aside, I for one am very glad that he killed that thin man. That was much better output than I expected. I was not, I kind of didn't want to blow that weapon up, but that's okay. 33% on a Seeker, 18% on the exposed thin man, despite the fact that that's a flank shot. Matahari, what can you do? 47% on a Seeker, only 32 on a sectoid. We're going to have Matahari go ahead and take this shot at the Seeker. That's a miss. Not a surprising miss in the grand scheme of things, really. Mitch, what can you do? 1%. Well, that's certainly not going to get it done. Not even sure we can get Mitch into a position to really contribute much. But all we've got left is Elvis and Mitch Hedberg. Could have Elvis take that shot. I'm definitely not taking that shot. Then again, the other thing we could do is just have Elvis move to a little better cover. Let's see what Mitch can do. We'll move Mitch forward. We'll have Mitch take a bad shot, frankly, but still worth taking, I feel. Most likely that guy's just going to cloak up and try and strangle anyway, so it won't really be too terrifyingly problematic if we leave him alive, at least for one turn. Or he's just going to come... Is he going to strangle? Yeah, he's going to strangle. Or not. What are you doing? 1 damage to Steve Irwin. Okay, I'll take it. That was armor damage, so Steve's going to be alright. This guy's going to take a poke at... he's going to suppress. Well, this went pretty well for us, actually. We honestly really couldn't have asked for a better outcome. Steve Irwin did not take actual damage. That's going to let little Mitch Hedberg walk up and just kill this guy. This is just straight up going to jack him.
Alien object in sight.
Yeah, we're not real worried about that. Why don't you go ahead and eliminate that guy, Mitch?
See you in hell.
Or at the Comedy Store next week when Mitch guest stars and co-headlines with Kathleen Madigan. Matahari's going to eliminate that Seeker force, and that's the end of the mission. An abduction mission with only 8 aliens on it? Man, that's pretty weak, aliens. You guys not really impressing me much with what you've been throwing at us. I mean, I'm feeling a lot like Shania Twain over here. That don't impress me much, boys. Don't impress me much at all. I had the high ground, and I was ready to lightsaber off your arms and both your legs. I'm in full-on Star Wars mode over here. And what do you give me? You give me a fucking herd of Gungans with General Jar Jar at the lead, and as soon as I show any kind of resistance at all, they just throw up their hands with the, "I give up." Disappointing. I mean, it was fucking disappointing when they did it in The Phantom Menace, and it was goddamn disappointing here as well. Did get some promotions, however. Elvis Presley packing on a level, Mitch Hedberg, Matahari, and the fantastic and vivacious Steve Irwin as well, so let's get those rolled in. Elvis, buddy, what do you got? Suppression is interesting. Steadfast is straight up garbage. Field Surgeon, 75% chance to eliminate or reduce or eliminate recovery time of non-critically injured soldiers. Automatic reduction if multiple medics on a mission have this perk. That's very interesting and also new. It did not used to do that. I do really like Suppression, but honestly, I think Field Medic and Field Surgeon here is way better. They both have sort of negative stat bonuses. We could get +5 will from Steadfast, but it's trash. 75% chance to reduce or eliminate. You know what? We got to go with it. We really do. We got to go with Field Surgeon. It's just too good. It's too good. So Elvis is going to be a new Field Surgeon for us. Mitch Hedberg is going to pick up probably holo targeting. Definitely holo targeting. Wow, they've reordered this. It used to be you had to choose between flush shot or holo targeting, and I was sort of a coin flip. Frequently would take one or the other. Gunslinger is shit. Lone Wolf, I don't like at all. It's +10 aim and critical if you're not within 7 tiles of an enemy unit, which does have some merit, but I really feel that ability would be better for an assault trooper than a scout, especially a scout given with Mitch's somewhat meager foot speed. So I'm going to go with holo targeting. Mitch is a team player. Am I right, Mitch? He likes sitting in a semicircle, folks. He's not addicted to gambling. He's addicted to sitting in a semicircle. Flush shot on a gunner. Not without merit, but I don't think I'm going to take that. I do like covering fire. Let's look at some of our advanced firing controls garbage. Heat ammo is a must-have, effectively. Ranger, Executioner, Will to Survive. Ready for anything I was not a fan of. Rapid fire is godlike. Double tap also very good. Danger zone, platform stability, resilience, extra conditioning, sentinel, and May. You know what? I think probably holo targeting is going to be the best bet here. We're going to have Matahari. We're going to set up to be a long-distance positional LMG gunner, I think, henceforth. And I like holo targeting for our LMG gunners. As for crazy-ass Steve Irwin, it's going to be Close Combat Specialist. And I know some of you out there right now are saying, you know, Close Combat Specialist can only trigger once a turn. It's not like it used to be where you could have one guy eliminate an entire pod of enemies. And that's true. But I don't care. I still like Close Combat Specialist. It's still really good. And I'm taking it. Also, Steve Irwin was definitively a Close Combat Specialist. If you can leap into a billabong with an alligator and come out with all your fucking limbs and appendages, yeah, you're a Close Combat Specialist. We only got 6 weapon fragments because of the unexpected explosion that Nikola Tesla generated, which means we're probably going to be too short. That's unfortunate. Pull back 20 meld, though. Holy crap, that's a ton. 4 Illyrium, some alloys, Seeker Wreck as well. Also 80 credits, decreased panic in Japan.
We will be watching.
No, you remember Optimus Prime. Lick my genitals. All of them. All over. Up and down. Into the creases and folds of my scrotum, even. That's what I want you to do, Optimus. Lick them all. Lick them good. Lick them thorough. Fucking jerk. Anyway, before Optimus Prime interrupted me, I was about to say, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support really does mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more daily XCOM, consider subscribing as well. For now, however, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.